In the long history of the world, only a few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its hour of maximum danger. I do not shrink from this responsibility. I welcome it.
Welcome to Musings of a Cigarette-Smoking Man. I'm Stephen Lake. Welcome to this episode of Musings of a Cigarette-Smoking Man. Today, we embark on a journey that goes beyond the highways and byways, beyond the familiar hum of tires on asphalt and the changing landscapes framed by your car window. Today, this episode is titled The Road Trip as Spiritual Pilgrimage, an exploration of what it means to travel, not just outwardly, but inwardly, where each mile folded behind us becomes a step deeper into the self. From the surface, a road trip might appear to be a simple act of escape or adventure, a way to break from the routine and soak in new sights. But beneath that lies a more intimate, more profound experience, a ritual of transformation that has called to seekers, artists, wanderers, and humble pilgrims for centuries. The open road provides a sacred space, a moving sanctuary where solitude meets revelation, where time slows and perspectives shift, where the mundane turns into meaningful. Over the course of this episode, I'll share reflections drawn from my own travels, the unexpected moments of clarity between towns, the silent conversations held under an infinite sky, and the bittersweet farewells to places and people that forever altered my view of the world and myself. These stories are more than narratives. They are windows into the alchemy of the road, where simple passage through space allows us and propels us through the landscapes of spirit, memory, and identity. We'll also weave in cultural references, those timeless road trip anthems, classic travel literature, and philosophical musings that capture the restless human urge to move forward. Think of Jack Kerouac's Restless Beats, Bob Dylan's Wandering Ballads, and the timeless wisdom found in sacred pilgrimage traditions from around the globe. These threads will serve to enrich our understanding of how road trips resonate with the archetypal journey of the soul, illustrating how travel and spiritual awakening have long been companions on the path to growth. Why consider a road trip as a spiritual pilgrimage? Because it demands openness to uncertainty, to serendipity, and sometimes to discomfort. And in that openness lies expansion. On a pilgrimage, there is intention and reverence for the journey itself. No matter how rough or uncertain the way may be, the road trip invites this same presence and willingness to surrender to the flow of experiences, encouraging us to shed old layers and meet ourselves anew in the shifting light of passing moments. In this episode, I invite you not just to listen, but to wander along with me. Whether you've driven countless miles or simply dream of the open road, may you hear today, what you hear today inspire your own contemplations and perhaps your own pilgrimage. We'll meet solitude as an old friend, embrace the unknown with curiosity, and find that sometimes getting lost is the truest way to find yourself. So settle in to your favorite quiet spot, flick on those headphones, light one up, and get one of your favorite adult beverages, and prepare yourself to travel inward and onward. Together we'll travel through stories, reflections, and melodies that evoke the spirit of the road trip, a tapestry of experience that honors both the physical journey and the mysteries of the heart's path. Our ride begins here. All right, let's dive into the heart of today's topic. We've talked in the introduction about the road trip having this deeper resonance, something beyond just covering miles. Today, we're going to explore that concept fully, the road trip as a modern day spiritual pilgrimage. Historically, pilgrimages were arduous journeys undertaken for religious reasons, to visit a sacred site, seek healing, to atone for sins. Think of Canterbury, Santiago de Compostela, Mecca, or Shardam Yatra in India. These were not holidays, they were acts of devotion, demanding physical endurance, mental fortitude, and spiritual focus. They were designed to be transformative, stripping away the comforts and distractions of everyday life to reveal something more fundamental about the self and the world. Now, compare that to the modern road trip. While not always explicitly religious, it often carries a similar weight of intention and potential for transformation. We pack our bags, leaving behind our routines, our responsibilities, our digital leashes, sometimes, and set out with a destination in mind, or perhaps just a direction. But the true magic, like the ancient pilgrimages, isn't solely about arriving, it's profoundly about the process of getting there. My first memory of being on a road trip across country was with my hometown church youth group, going out west from Charlotte, North Carolina to Colorado to see our youth leader work in Montreat West, a Presbyterian festival. There were we were a van packed full of teenagers driving through the middle route out through Kansas with the Rockies peeking up in the horizon. And I distinctly remember driving to Bohemian Rhapsody coming on the radio, and all of us in the van singing along at the top of our lungs. It was a spiritual experience for sure, and one of my first introductions to rock and roll and the transcendent moment of road trips. The journey versus the destination. This brings us to a classic theme, one that feels acutely relevant to the open road, the journey versus the destination. On a conventional trip, the destination is the primary focus. You endure the travel, the airport lines, the cramped seats, all for the reward of being there. A pilgrimage, however, inherently elevates the journey itself. The path, the challenges along the way, the experiences unfold step by step. These are the crucible of transformation. The road trip at its best mirrors this. The destination might be a national park, a specific city, or a geographical landmark, but the most impactful moments often happen unexpectedly. A roadside diner encounter, a breathtaking view from a pull off, a flat tire in the middle of nowhere that forces a pause in a different kind of problem solving. These are the unplanned blessings and trials that shape the narrative of the trip and, more importantly, shape the traveler. Philosophers and writers have long pondered this duality. The poet T.S. Eliot wrote, "The journey, not the arrival, matters." Lao Tzu's wisdom from the Tao Te Ching echoes this. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. These aren't just clever phrases. They point to a fundamental truth about growth. Growth doesn't happen in one grand arrival. It's the cumulative effect of countless steps, missteps, pauses, and changes in direction along the way. On the road, you are constantly in motion, constantly adapting. You see the world unspool before you, not as a static image, but as a flowing panorama. The constant movement encourages a similar fluidity within. Plans change, detours happen, and you learn to flow with them. You learn patience when traffic snarls, gratitude for a clean motel room after a long day, and humility in the face of vast landscapes that dwarf your everyday concerns. The road forces presence. You have to pay attention to the immediate surroundings, the road conditions, the changing weather. This heightened awareness of the external often leads to a deeper awareness of the internal. My second greatest road trip was with my girlfriend Amanda in 2018. We left from Charlotte up the East Coast to Salem, Massachusetts, New York City, through Washington, D.C., and up to Maine, then west through New York State to Niagara Falls, back to Chicago, and then back down through the heartland, back to Charlotte. It was an epic adventure, and one I will never forget, one I'm grateful to have an experience of. That time with Amanda on the road was the culmination of a lifelong dream, and memories made on that fateful road trip will last with me to my golden years. Another crucial element of both pilgrimage and the road trip is solitude. While road trips can certainly be shared experiences, there's a unique quality to the solitude encountered when driving alone for long stretches. Even with companions, there are hours spent in quiet observation, lost in thought as the landscapes roll by. This isn't necessarily loneliness, it's an opportunity for profound self communion. In our hyper-connected world, true solitude is a rare commodity. We are constantly bombarded by notifications, demands, and the noise of others. The road trip provides a sanctuary from this. Hours alone in a car, with perhaps only the radio or the sound of the wind for company, strip away the external pressures and leave you with yourself. This can be confronting initially. Many people are uncomfortable being alone with their thoughts for extended periods, but it's also incredibly fertile ground for introspection. Thinkers like Thoreau championed the power of solitude for clarity and self-reliance. He found truths by retreating to Walden Pond. While a car isn't a cabin in the woods, the principle holds. The sustained period of detachment from usual social obligations and distractions allows the quieter voices within to be heard. Ideas surface. Problems that seemed intractable back home begin to untangle, and you gain perspective on your life from a distance. The solitude breeds self-reliance. When you're alone on the road, you're responsible for yourself. You navigate, you refuel, you find lodging, you handle unexpected issues. This isn't just practical, it's empowering. It reminds you of your own capabilities and resilience, qualities essential for navigating the pilgrimage of life itself. Encounters and connections. Paradoxically, While solitude is a key element, road trips also offer unique opportunities for encounter and connection, often with strangers in fleeting moments that can leave a lasting impression. Ancient pilgrims relied on the kindness of strangers for food and shelter, fostering a sense of shared humanity on the path. Modern road trips, too, are punctuated by these interactions. The conversation with the cashier at a gas station in a tiny town, the brief chat with a fellow traveler at a scenic overlook, the diner waitress who shares a story about the local area. These encounters, often brief and anonymous, are different from the complex ongoing relationship of our daily lives. They are simpler, often more open, grounded in the shared experience of being on the road. There's a vulnerability and openness that the road encourages. You are outside your usual social context, free from the preconceptions and expectations. This freedom allows for genuine, unburdened interactions. You meet people purely as fellow human beings traversing the same planet, perhaps just crossing paths for a few minutes. These encounters can challenge your assumptions, broaden your understanding of different ways of life, and remind you of the interconnectedness of humanity. Moments of unexpected insight. Perhaps the most compelling link between road trips and spiritual pilgrimage is the potential for unexpected insight and revelation. Pilgrimages have always been associated with seeking wisdom, clarity, or divine guidance. The journey itself, through its challenges and solitude, prepares the traveler to receive these insights. The road trip creates a similar fertile ground. The combination of physical movement, shifting scenery, solitude, and detachment from daily stressors allows the mind to wander and connect dots in new ways. Without the constant demands on your attention, the subconscious has space to work. Solutions to problems that felt impossible back home might suddenly become clear while watching the lines on the highway disappear under your hood. Creative blocks can dissolve as the landscape inspires new perspectives. These insights aren't always grand epiphanies. Sometimes they are quiet realizations about yourself, your relationships, or your values. It could be understanding why a certain situation has been bothering you, or gaining clarity on a decision you've been wrestling with. The constant change of scenery seems to encourage a similar fluidity in thought, helping you to see things from different angles. The philosopher Martin Buber spoke of I thou encounters, moments of genuine present relationship, not just with people, but potentially with the world itself. On a road trip, particularly in nature, you can experience these I thou moments, standing at the edge of a canyon, feeling the vastness of the desert under a star-filled sky, or watching the storm gather on the horizon. These experiences can evoke a sense of awe and connection to something larger than yourself, which is profoundly spiritual. Philosophical threads and personal reflections. We can draw parallels to thinkers who explored themes of travel and existence. Albert Camus, in his writings, often touched upon the idea of the absurd, the conflict between humanity's search for meaning and the universe's apparent meaninglessness. Yet, his philosophy also contained a form of defiant joy and a focus on living fully in the present. The road trip, in its confrontation with vastness and solitude, can touch upon feelings of smallness relative to the universe, but it also celebrates the freedom and the immediacy of existence, the pure act of moving through space, experiencing the moment. Another figure who resonates is the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, who wrote about the concept of the Übermensch, or overman, not as a tyrannical figure, but as someone who transcends conventional morality and creates their own values. While perhaps a stretch, the road trip can be seen as a small act of Nietzschean self-creation. You choose your path, your stops, your experiences, forging a narrative unique to your journey. You step outside the established order of your daily life and define your own movement through the world, however temporarily. Even existentialist ideas find purchase on the road. The emphasis on individual freedom and responsibility, the encounter with the raw reality of existence, stripped of social artifice, these are all elements present on the solitary drive through an unfamiliar landscape. You are faced with your own choices, your own limits, and the simple fact of being present in a specific time and place. I find the physical effort of driving long distances, navigating unfamiliar roads, and dealing with the logistics of travel grounds me. It pulls me out of my head and into the present reality of the journey. The fatigue at the end of the long driving day is an honest fatigue earned through effort. The small victories, finding the perfect unexpected meal, discovering a hidden gem of a town, or simply making good time, feel significant. More than anything, though, it's the stillness that emerges from motion. The quiet contemplation possible while driving allows me to sort through thoughts and emotions in a way that sitting still at home often doesn't. It's a moving meditation where the external landscape facilitates the internal one. The vastness of the sky and the earth seem to absorb my anxieties and reflect back a sense of peace and possibility. The road trip as a spiritual pilgrimage, then, isn't necessarily about seeking a religious experience in the traditional sense. It's about actively engaging with the process of journeying as a means of self-discovery and connection. It's about embracing solitude, being open to unexpected encounters, finding insight in the mundane and the magnificent, and recognizing that the true destination is often the person you become along the way. It's not a journey, it's a journey that invites presence, resilience, and reflection. It strips away the non-essential and brings you face to face with the fundamental act of moving through life, 1 mile, one moment, one breath at a time. As we pause in our journey along this road of reflection and discovery, allow me to introduce you to a few companions that might just become indispensable on your next pilgrimage. Whether across miles of asphalt or inner landscapes. First up is Black Rifle Coffee, crafted with the grit of those who embrace challenge with clarity. Imagine the crack of dawn on a long stretch of highway, the world still quiet, the engine humming low, a moment made sharper by the rich, bold taste of a good cup of coffee. Black Rifle Coffee isn't just about staying awake, it's about awakening your senses, your mind, and your spirit. For anyone who believes that energy and clarity are essential companions on a road trip, Black Rifle's roasts offer the perfect fuel for both body and soul. Moleskin Notebooks. Next, we've got Moleskin, the classic journal for the traveler, the dreamer, and the seeker. There's something sacred about putting pen to paper while on the road, capturing fleeting thoughts, insights, and revelations before they dissipate into the ether. Whether it's a simple note about the curve of the horizon or a profound meditation sparked by a roadside encounter, these notebooks provide a durable, elegant home for your inner journey. Their timeless designs and quality craftsmanship invite you to slow down and reflect, turning each page into a map of your unfolding pilgrimage. Skillcraft U.S. government pens. And to accompany your Moleskin, consider the Skillcraft U.S. government pen, an unexpectedly perfect tool for the task. Designed for reliability under pressure, these pens glide smoothly across the page, whether you're scribbling a quick line at a rest stop or drafting a longer contemplative entry in the quiet dusk. Made with the precision and durability demanded by government service, Skillcraft pens remind us that spiritual insights are worth capturing with tools as steadfast as the journey itself. Together, these brands blend seamlessly with the rhythms of the road as spiritual pilgrimage, energizing you, inspiring reflection, and equipping you to document the mysteries and insights discovered along the way. So next time you pack your bags, make sure you have your Black Rifle coffee to awaken your mornings, a Moleskin notebook to hold your discoveries, and a Skillcraft pen to record them all, because every great journey deserves the right companions. All right. In the previous segment, we laid the groundwork, exploring the theoretical underpinnings of why the modern road trip resonates so deeply with the ancient practice of spiritual pilgrimage. We talked about the journey versus the destination, the power of solitude, the unexpected grace of encounters, and the fertile ground for insight that the open road provides. But theory only takes you so far. The heart of any journey, spiritual or otherwise, lies in the lived experience. It's the dust in your shoes, the ache in your muscles, or in this case, the stiffness from hours in the driver's seat, the taste of roadside coffee, and the faces of strangers you meet along the way. Cultural echoes, the modern pilgrim. These stories, I believe, resonate with the ancient human impulse to undertake journeys of significance. Think about the motivations for traditional pilgrimages: seeking answers, healing, penance, expressing devotion, gaining perspective, or simply fulfilling a promise, while the explicit religious motives may differ for modern road trippers. The underlying desires often overlap: a search for clarity during a time of transition, a need for emotional or mental space, a desire to connect with history or nature, or a simple yearning for something more than the everyday routine offers. The Camino de Santiago in Spain, for example, is a network of ancient pilgrimage routes leading to the shrine of St. James. Historically, pilgrims walked for months, carrying minimal possessions, reliant on hostels and the charity of locals. Today, while many still walk with deep religious faith, the Camino also attracts countless individuals seeking introspection, physical challenge, or a break from modern life. They walk just as their ancestors did, step by mindful step, often finding profound personal revelations on the path. A road trip, in its own way, offers a parallel. While we cover distance by car, the mental and emotional journey can be just as demanding and rewarding. We carry our we are carrying our physical selves through space, but also our inner landscapes of thought and feeling. The car becomes a mobile hermitage, a space for reflection and observation. The stops along the way are like the churches, shrines, or natural landmarks on a traditional route, points of focus, rest, or intense experience that punctuate the steady rhythm of the journey. Even the planning and preparation for a road trip, mapping the route, packing the essentials, preparing the vehicle, can be seen as a modern day ritual, a secular parallel to the spiritual preparations undertaken by ancient pilgrims. It's a conscious setting aside of everyday life and an intentional focus on the journey ahead. The practice of mindfulness on the road, crucial to unlocking the transformative potential of a road trip or any journey, is the practice of mindfulness and cultivating a state of openness. The road trip environment is uniquely suited for fostering these qualities. Mindfulness at its core is about paying attention to the present moment without judgment. When you're driving, a certain level of mindfulness is essential for safety. You have to be aware of the road, other vehicles, changing conditions, but you can extend this awareness beyond the purely practical. You can mindfully observe the changing landscape, the play of light and shadow, the details of the towns you pass through. You can pay attention to your own physical sensations, the feel of the steering wheel, the slight to your own vibrations of the car, the tension in your shoulders, and consciously relax them. More deeply, you can practice mindful awareness of your internal state. What thoughts are arising as you drive? What emotions are you feeling? Can you simply observe them without getting swept away? The repetitive rhythm of the road can be a powerful aid to this kind of moving meditation. Instead of letting your mind race uncontrollably, you can use the steady progress of the car as an anchor for your attention, returning to the present moment whenever your mind wanders. Openness goes hand in hand with mindfulness. It's an attitude of receptivity to whatever the journey brings, without rigid expectations and resistance. It means being open to detours, open to unexpected encounters, open to changing your plans, and most importantly, open to seeing things differently. Whether it's a new perspective or on a personal problem or a fresh appreciation for a place you thought you knew. On the road, you're constantly exposed to novelty and uncertainty. Traffic jams, road construction, a restaurant being closed, finding a beautiful spot you didn't know existed. These disruptions and discoveries invite you to let go of control and simply be present with what is happening. This practice of letting go and being present is fundamental to many spiritual traditions, a way of cultivating trust and resilience in the face of life's unpredictable flow. By consciously choosing mindfulness and openness on your road trip, you transform it from mere travel into a profound opportunity for growth. You become not just a driver, but an observer and participant in the unfolding world, both outside your window and within your own consciousness. You notice the small details, you appreciate the simple moments, and you become more receptive to the quiet insights that the journey offers. It's the mindful observation of a vast star-filled sky in the desert that you feel the awe. It's in the open conversation with a stranger at a diner counter that you find unexpected connection. It's in facing the challenge of a flat tire with presence rather than panic that you discover inner strength. These are the moments that elevate a road trip from a simple drive to a modern day pilgrimage, a deliberate journey undertaken with an open heart and a present mind, leading not just to a physical destination, but towards a deeper understanding of yourself and your place in the world. As our journey along the road of reflection continues, let's take a moment to introduce you to some exceptional craftspeople and brands whose dedication to artistry and heritage beautifully complements the spirit of the pilgrimage. Brownie Drums and Brinson Guitars. First up are Brownie Drums and Brinson Guitars, two makers of musical instruments that are more than tools. They are vessels of soulful expression and craftsmanship. On a spiritual journey, music often surfaces as a profound language of the heart. The rhythm of a drum beat echoes the pulse of the earth, grounding the traveler in the present moment. Brownie drums are handcrafted with attention to tone, feel, and spirit, inviting musicians to connect deeply with their sound and themselves. Similarly, Brinson guitars bring an artisanal legacy to every note. Each guitar is a unique creation, forged by skilled hands from carefully selected woods. These instruments aren't just objects, they are companions along the road, ready to carry your stories through melody and song. Whether strummed under a night sky or softly played in solitude on a rest stop bench, their warm, resonant voice stirs creative fires and inspires introspection. For the road trip pilgrim who finds solace and revelation in music, Brownie drums and Brinson guitars represent the perfect harmony of tradition, artistry, and heartfelt expression, a reminder that every journey contains its own unique soundtrack. Monarch Holdings International, allpoetry.com, and Leak Furniture Makers. Moving on, let's celebrate three brands that embody the values of legacy, expression, and enduring craftsmanship, qualities that resonate deeply on a spiritual path. Monarch Holdings International is a company dedicated to preserving heritage and cultivating legacy, much like a pilgrimage that honors the past even as it journeys forward. Monarch Holdings invests in tradition that matter, supporting businesses and projects that stand the test of time. Their work reminds us that spiritual journeys are not just personal but communal and historical, threaded with stories that enrich our understanding of who we are. Allpoetry.com offers a vibrant platform for sharing spiritual and artistic expression. Poetry can be a powerful way to articulate the ineffable experiences encountered on the road, the fleeting moments of grace, the raw edges of a struggle, the sparkling threads of insight woven through our travels. Allpoetry.com connects poets and readers worldwide, providing a space to give voice to the soulful reflections that road trips often inspire. Whether you're a seasoned writer or a curious newcomer, their community invites you to share your pilgrimage in words. Finally, Leek Furniture Makers stands as artisans of timeless quality and function. Their handcrafted furniture pieces are symbols of stability and enduring beauty, quality so vital to a spiritual life lived authentically, just as a road trip requires a reliable vehicle and trusted tools. A spiritual journey calls for anchors that ground us in comfort and craftsmanship. Leek's bespoke creations blend form with function, inviting you to create spaces of calm and reflection wherever you call home after the road. So whether you are drawn to the rhythm of handcrafted drums and guitars, inspired by the preservation of heritage, moved to share your own inner journey through poetry, or seeking enduring pieces that root your daily life, these brands offer companions for your pilgrimage. They remind us that craftsmanship, community, and creative expression are essential threads woven through the fabric of any meaningful journey. Alright, so far we've explored the profound concept of the road trip as a spiritual pilgrimage, delving into the why, the solitude, the encounters, the unexpected insights, and how these journeys mirror ancient paths of self-discovery. We've reflected on the philosophical underpinnings and shared stories that illustrate the transformative power of the road. Now let's shift gears a bit. The why is important, but equally crucial is the how. If we want to approach our road trips with intention, to truly unlock their potential as spiritual journeys rather than just recreational travel, what practical tools and practices can we incorporate? How do we actively cultivate presence, introspection, and openness amidst the miles? This is about you, the listener, with concrete ways to deepen your next road trip experience. Think of these as disciplines, much like a monk might engage in daily prayer or meditation, or a traditional pilgrim might follow specific rituals along their path. These practices aren't meant to be rigid rules, but gentle invitations to engage more fully with the journey, both external and internal. Journaling, mapping the inner landscape. One of the oldest and most reliable tools for introspection is journaling. Putting thoughts and feelings onto paper provides clarity, allows for processing experiences, and creates a tangible record of your journey. On a road trip, where impressions can come thick and fast, a journal becomes an essential companion. Why journal on the road? The simple act of writing slows you down. It forces you to articulate the fleeting images, sensations, and thoughts that pass through your mind. Driving can be a trance-like state, where ideas bubble up but then vanish. Stopping to write them down anchors them, giving them form and significance. A journal allows you to record not just the external details of the trip, the towns you visited, the sights you saw, but also the internal landscape. What did you feel when you saw that vast canyon? What thoughts arose during that long, silent stretch of highway? What insight came to you during a coffee break? These are the data points of your spiritual pilgrimage. Think of your journal as a portable sanctuary, a private space where you can be completely honest. There's no editor, no audience, just you and the page, and you can explore difficult emotions, celebrate small victories, question your assumptions, and track shifts in your perspective. Over time, looking back at your entries can reveal patterns, growth, and the subtle ways the journey shaped you. The physical act of writing is important here. While digital notes have their place, there's a different connection forged when a pen meets paper. It engages a different part of the brain, fostering a more contemplative process. This is where tools matter. You need a journal that feels good to hold, that inspires you to write. As we mentioned earlier, moleskin notebooks are practically synonymous with travel and creative exploration. Their sturdy binding quality paper and simple elegant design make them the perfect companions for the road. The road trip environment, with its long mix of stretches and moments of punctuated stops, offers a unique opportunity for practicing mindfulness and meditation. While traditional meditation often involves sitting still, the principles of paying attention to the present moment can be applied. Pilgrimage traditions often involve repetitive action like walking or chanting, which can induce a meditative state. The repetitive nature of driving long distances can serve a similar function, creating a rhythm that allows the mind to settle. If you approach it with intention, by consciously incorporating mindfulness, you transform driving from a potentially stressful chore into an opportunity for peaceful awareness and inner quiet. Digital detox, intentional disconnection for deeper connection. Perhaps one of the most powerful practices for enhancing spiritual dimension of a modern road trip is intentional disconnection from digital devices. Our phones and screens, while useful for navigation and communication, are also constant sources of distraction, pulling us away from the present moment and into an endless stream of information and social obligations. A pilgrimage is inherently an act of stepping away from ordinary life to seek something more profound. In the 21st century, the stepping away must include our digital lives, constantly checking emails, scrolling social media, being available 24/7, fragments our attention and prevents us from fully immersing ourselves in the experience of the journey. Intentional disconnection isn't necessarily about going completely off grid, though that can be its own powerful experience, but about setting boundaries. It's about choosing when and how you will use your devices, prioritizing presence over connectivity. Why is that important for a spiritual journey? Our devices provide a constant escape hatch from solitude and introspection. Feeling a bit bored or uncomfortable, pick up the phone. Experiencing a challenging emotion, distract yourself online. But growth often happens in those moments of quiet discomfort or undirected thought. By removing the easy escape, you create space for reflection, observation, and simply being with yourself and the environment. Limiting digital use encourages you to look outward at the landscape, the people, and the unexpected details, rather than inward at a screen. It also encourages you to look inward in a different way, not through the lens of external validation, likes, comments, but through genuine self-reflection and introspection, perhaps aided by your journal. Bringing the road home, integrating lessons learned. A successful pilgrimage. One I often think of people of our generation going out to Seattle and seeing where Kurt Cobain lived, or it could be any kind of pop culture reference that interests people, whether ancient or modern. It's not just about reaching a destination or returning unchanged. The real measure of its impact lies in the transformation it instills within the traveler and how that transformation is integrated into their ongoing life. You leave your everyday world to go on the journey, but you must return to it. The challenge then becomes, how do you keep the spirit of the pilgrimage alive when you're back in the familiar landscape of home, work, and routine? The lessons learned on the road often relate to fundamental aspects of being human: patience in the face of delays, resilience when things go wrong, openness to novelty, gratitude for simple comforts, the ability to be present, and gaining perspective on problems that seemed overwhelming before you left. These aren't lessons meant to stay confined to the highway. They are meant to enrich our daily existence. Think about the patience required when stuck in traffic or dealing with an unexpected road closure. That same patience can be applied when facing frustrations at work or navigating challenging interpersonal dynamics. The self-reliance you discover when you have to solve a problem on your own, miles from anywhere, builds confidence that translates into tackling difficulties in other areas of your life. The journey continues. Life is an ongoing pilgrimage. This leads us to a crucial point. The spiritual pilgrimage is not just a discrete event, a trip to a sacred site or defined road journey from point A to point B. It is, at its heart, a metaphor for life itself. Life is the ultimate ongoing pilgrimage, a continuous process of movement, learning, challenge. encounter, and transformation. Viewing life as a pilgrimage changes everything. It shifts the focus from merely achieving external goals to embracing the process, the lessons, and the unfolding mystery of the path. It encourages a sense of intentionality and presence in every step, not just in the ones taken on vacation. Just as a pilgrim in the Camino faces uncertain weather, physical discomfort, and unexpected detours, we face uncertainty, hardship, and unforeseen challenges and changes in direction of our lives. These are not failures of the pilgrimage, they are integral parts of it, opportunities for growth, learning, and deepening our resilience and faith. Whether that faith is in a higher power, the goodness of humanity, or simply our own ability to adapt and persevere, the road trip, when approached as a pilgrimage, serves as a microcosm of this larger life journey. It allows us to practice the skills needed for the long haul, navigating the unknown, finding sustenance in simple things, connecting with fellow travelers, dealing with setbacks, and finding moments of profound beauty and insight along the way. It's a concentrated period designed to remind us how to be on the path. In this sense, the end of the road trip is not the end of the pilgrimage. It's merely the transition to a different phase of the journey, the return to the ordinary world, where the lessons are put into practice. Every day offers opportunities for small acts of pilgrimage, finding beauty in the mundane, seeking moments of solitude and reflection amidst the chaos. Practicing patience and compassion in our interactions, and staying open to unexpected insights. The philosopher Joseph Campbell, in his work on mythology, spoke extensively about the hero's journey, a cyclical narrative pattern found in myths worldwide. The hero leaves their ordinary world, ventures into the unknown, faces trials, gains a boon or transformation, then returns changed, bringing something valuable back to their community. The road trip as pilgrimage fits neatly into this archetype. You leave your ordinary world, venture into the unknown, face trials, gain transformation, return home, hopefully bringing back a renewed sense of self and purpose. As we bring this episode of Musings of a Cigarette Smoking Man to a close, I want to thank you for embarking on this journey with me and indulging me on my spiritual ramblings. The winding highways, quiet moments, and reflections on what it means to travel, not just across the map, but across the landscape of the spirit. The road trip, as we've explored together, is more than a way to pass time or check off destinations. It's a sacred pilgrimage, an invitation to slow down, open up, and meet yourself anew in the shifting scenery and solitude of the open road. We've delved into the power of solitude to clear mental clutter and foster self-reliance. We've seen how unexpected encounters with strangers, with nature, with challenges like a flat tire, can unlock grace and insight. We've discovered how mindfulness, journaling, music, intentional disconnection, and simple rituals can deepen and honor the spiritual voyage. We've reflected on how the lessons carried from the road can and should infuse daily lives, turning everyday moments into ongoing opportunities for presence, growth, and wonder. Your own pilgrimage, whether across 1,000 miles of asphalt or through the quieter journeys inside the heart, is waiting. The road trip is a metaphor, yeah, but also a tangible practice, a chance to disengage from the noise of routine and re-engage with the vastness of life, both around you and within you. I encourage you to embrace the spirit of adventure and reflection in your next travels and even in your everyday rhythms at home. What stories, insights, or moments have the road gifted you? So when you start your car or step out your door, ask yourself, what journey am I ready to undertake today? How will I be present? And what might I discover about myself and the world if I just keep moving forward, one mindful step at a time? Until next time, keep your eyes open, your mind curious, and your heart ready for the road ahead. Safe travels in your pilgrimage, wherever it may lead. Thanks for being here with me tonight. I'm the cigarette smoking man. We're gonna win.